Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from alien ship crashes to bee attacks that may just leave you stunned. Ready? Let's jump in. Right off the bat, we start with a freaky one. Do you believe monsters exist? No? Well, how do you explain this? If this clip were taken in the ocean, I'd argue it was some species of octopus, but this was clearly recorded on land. The last time I checked, we didn't have such creatures living amongst us. Unless, of course, it's an undiscovered species of land animal. Everything would make sense if it were, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Once this hit our paranormal groups, it naturally went viral and the debate started. Some believed that this was a previously unknown species. Some also argued that this had to be alien. Others thought it was a mechanical device that had been perfectly positioned to appear as though it were alive. Others thought it was CGI and clearly a hoax. Personally, I don't have an opinion and I can't say for sure what it is, but I'm tempted to take the side of it being a mechanically set up device. Why? The answer is simple. Take a good look at the clip and you will realize that the creature, if we can call it that, only moves to and fro in a perfectly straight line. If this were real, I doubt any creature would move like that, especially when it's being threatened. The arms are also just moving around without any clear direction, almost as if it's some mechanical device that's been programmed to do so. You don't have to take my word for it, though. Perhaps that's the spirit of skepticism at work in me. Anyway, what do you guys think? Next, we have another clip that's almost unbelievable. Take a look. Tell me, do you see it too? Just so I know we're on the same page, do you see a man with eyes in his body? You do? Then I'm not so crazy after all. This clip was sent in to us by someone who claims to be suffering from a similar situation. Now, I know I already called myself a skeptic, but I find it hard to believe this is real. It's possible that the person who sent the clip may be suffering from something similar, but as far as this clip is concerned, the man in the video doesn't have multiple eyes on his body. We shared the clip with a friend who's an expert in all things VFX and CGI, and he stated that the clip had been altered. The man was filmed and then some CGI was included. If you pay attention to the clip, you'll realize that it's a tad unnatural. He attributes this to the fact that the clip has been altered. Despite his strong stance, there are still some who believe that this is the real deal. They claim to have encountered such individuals and rationalize that the unnatural movements may only look like that because it was recorded on a low-quality device. What do you guys think? I wish I could tell you that that's the end of the weird stuff, but no, it gets weirder. Take a look at this next clip. Yup, those are alleged alien babies. We don't call this show Classified Captures for no reason. This was also sent in by a user here claiming to be part of a secret team that takes care of alien babies on the planet. As proof, he or she sent in this clip. I say he or she because the individual refused to share any personal information at the risk of being discovered by the organization he or she works with. The exchange was exciting at first because of the mysterious nature of the person involved. Once we got this clip, however, it just didn't feel that way anymore. My team started suspecting right away that there had to be clips of silicon babies in the form of aliens. Sure enough, we did find the clip somewhere with people calling it silicon. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think? Moving away from aliens, what are your thoughts on beings living in the underground, aka our sewage systems? Sounds comical, right? Well, how do you explain this? Yup, these were captured by everyday folk like you and I. These are random encounters that showed individuals or people picking things from the surface world. I know it sounds funny, but there have been many instances like this. What do you think might be going on in such situations? Some have suggested they are kids playing, but that wouldn't make sense. Which parent would allow their kids to play in the sewage systems? How did they get there in the first place? Others have also suggested that they may be demons trying to make it to the surface world. Now, this seems like it's overreaching a bit. If demons can escape hell, I doubt our sewage systems would be capable of holding them. Forgive me for sounding pessimistic, but I'm just thinking through these facts. What do you guys think, though? Could there be a reason why these things are coming up, or do you think the entire thing is a hoax? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Still on creatures from the lower depths, take a look at this clip. What does it remind you of? What does this look like? It's not too hard to guess. A lower body that looks fishy and an upper body that's, well, human. That's gotta be a mermaid, hasn't it? The body proportions, however, defy what we normally see, and there's something odd about the clip. I just can't put my finger on it. It offsets the whole thing and prevents it from feeling like the usual clips we see of mermaids. I just can't put my finger on it, but can you help? Has your food ever tried to escape from your plate? I'm not talking about live food, no. I mean a freshly prepared meal. Well, no. Take a look at this clip. Yep, this is real. We did our research and confirmed the clip was very authentic. So what are we dealing with here? Well, a number of individuals believe the meat is possessed. While that sounds interesting, I'm actually wondering why spirits would want to possess meat. Does it have some nutritional value, or does it allow them access to the bodies of those who consume it? Well, that will be interesting to ponder. It turns out it's not really the case. After some hours of researching, we found out what you are seeing on your screens is now perfectly normal. It turns out that whenever freshly chopped animal meat appears to move, it's often due to nerve endings that haven't completely died yet. Even after an animal is slaughtered, some nerve impulses can still fire off, causing muscles to contract and twitch. This phenomenon can make it seem like the meat is moving, just like we are seeing, but it's just the result of residual nerve activity. Additionally, certain chemical reactions and electrical impulses within the muscle tissues can contribute to these movements. It's more common in freshly slaughtered meat and tends to subside as the meat begins to cool and rigor mortis sets in. What do you think, though? Do you agree? Well, some in the original post didn't think so. Take a look at some of my favorite comments. When I saw this, the first thing that came to mind was possessed, but then again I thought to myself, perhaps there might be a medical explanation for this, and so I did some research and discovered that there's not. There's no condition that makes the eye as dark as we see. I turned to my paranormal groups and it turns out my instincts were right. This has to do with paranormal entities that take the form of children to beg for help and, well, do horrible things to those who help them later. This child, on the other hand, looks cute and appears to be with a family. Could our hypothesis be wrong? Could the child have been replaced by some vile spirit, or is this a medical condition I didn't discover in my research? So many questions and yet no answers. Whatever the situation, I can't help but feel sad for the baby, if it is indeed one. Poor baby. It's been a while, but we're back with it. Our community has been buzzing of late, and I thought, what better way to recognize some of you than to give you all another one of our bonus clips. Can you tell me what this is? If you can, please do tell me in the comments section. Start your comment with bonus and write the name of the creature as well as one fact on it. The best 5 comments will be featured in our next video. Good luck. Can you do the split? I know a majority of us here can't do it. I must confess I can't. What if I told you I met a mouse that could? Don't believe me? Watch. Yep, that's a mouse doing the split. We're not exactly sure how it got there, but it's remaining there by doing the split. My team thinks it was trying to escape the humans, and that's not impossible. When survival mode kicks in, it's amazing the things we can do. A split would have been the last thing on my mind, but here it is. There's also the possibility that the people recording it put it there to garner views, but that would just be cruel. Enjoy the natural split. Does hell exist on Earth, or is it in another plane or dimension? I've always wondered about this growing up, and these next clips allegedly hold the answer. According to the original posters of these clips, they discovered hell on Earth where individuals were burning and not dying, sort of like an eternal torment with people perpetually screaming. As much as I want to believe this clip and satisfy my curiosity, they just don't add up. It feels like the screams were edited into the clips and the locations look like an industrial place. This is just a blatant attempt to peddle falsehoods, and I'm very upset. Why am I upset again? Doesn't the internet have a lot of these false videos? Anyway, I would really want to know what the places shown in these clips really do. Could someone educate me? Our next clip was taken by the pilot of a military craft. The pilot of the aircraft was on a routine flight when he noticed an unknown craft flying nearby. The craft was circular and had an appearance similar to a saucer. It flew past the pilot's aircraft without any interaction or acknowledgement. According to the pilot, he had no idea what the craft was, which ruled out the possibility of it being a drone. What is intriguing about the video is that the craft seems to be highly advanced and unlike any human-made aircraft. There's no clear explanation as to what the craft could have been, and it remains a mystery. Do you think it could have been a UFO? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you remember the peculiar anomaly that caught our attention in Africa at the beginning of April? Well, it's resurfaced again, but this time it was observed near Antarctica not too far from South Africa. Reports suggest that huge waves were seen swamping over the area, which is quite intriguing. However, further investigation reveals that such waves are not entirely uncommon in South Africa. Similar occurrences have been reported in locations like Queensbury Bay and East London. A user on one of our platforms made a profound input on the subject. Someone needs to look up this old video. Something like 15 years ago, there was a satellite image of waves reaching over 100 feet. It was in this area. That's why cargo ships don't travel the roof directly across South America. Ships get ripped apart. I'm sure there is something going on, but this has been well documented for decades. I remember the video was well from cargo ships of waves covering these massive ships. Naturally, the masses believe something odd is happening here, perhaps a secret government project causing these strange occurrences. They still hold on to the idea that even if it's not a government project, the government is covering things up. Our scientists tell it that these waves are caused by a combination of factors, including strong winds, ocean currents, and underwater topography. This causes them to sometimes reach heights of over 30 meters, making them a significant danger to ships and other vessels. So are these waves just waves, or could there be more to them? In this next clip, you can see a man using a metal thing to strike a rock. The rock, which was initially gray, suddenly turns red within a matter of seconds. This is quite unusual as rocks are typically considered non-living and shouldn't react to being hit. Various commenters have offered their theories in an attempt to explain this phenomenon. Some have suggested that the rock is a type of red stone that changes color when struck. Several others have suggested that the rock may contain either magnesium or magnetite. Magnetite is a natural stone that has magnetic properties. One commenter clarified that magnetite has natural magnetic south properties, which means that it can attract or repel other magnets. While these are interesting observations, they don't truly explain what exactly caused the rock to turn red. Rocks aren't exactly my thing, so can you help? Or is this just a paranormal occurrence? Now, what is this? Black, thick, gigantic strands floating to the ocean's surface. The first thing that came to mind when I saw them was wigs. Turns out they aren't wigs, and the mermaids aren't shedding their hair. I wonder what gives me such ideas. I did the research and discovered that I didn't need to. A number of the individuals who commented on the original post had it right. We're dealing with kelp. For those unfamiliar with it, kelp is a type of large brown seaweed that thrives in cold, nutrient-rich waters and grows in underwater forests found along coastlines. These underwater forests can extend from the ocean floor to the surface, where the kelp fronds create a thick and dense canopy. Kelp can grow up to 60 meters in length, making it one of the fastest-growing plants in the world. The kelp forests are home to numerous marine organisms, including fish, crabs, and sea urchins that rely on kelp for food and shelter. They can, however, become detached from the seafloor due to storms, strong currents, or other factors. When that happens, they float to the surface and create large clumps or mats like in the clip above. So, no wigs. Disappointing. Before I move on to the next clip, though, I thought I'd share my favorite comment from the original post with you. The first time I read this, I almost believed it till the last statement. That's why I had to do my own research. The internet can be a funny place. Who knew? Have you ever seen an angry and crazy hippo? Well, today's your lucky day. Speaking of luck, that zookeeper is very fortunate to escape unscathed. The last thing you want to do is upset a hippo. Even lions avoid them. They are aggressive, strong, and almost indestructible. And those jaws, I repeat, the zookeeper is fortunate to not have experienced their bite force firsthand. Surviving a hippo attack requires staying calm, assessing the situation for signs of aggression, and slowly backing away while keeping an eye on the hippo's movements. Supposing you're in the wild and the hippo charges, seek higher ground or a sturdy structure, create distance, and use deterrents like loud noise or pepper spray if available. If attacked, protect yourself by curling into a ball with your head tucked. The zookeeper was able to do this instinctively, which might have saved him. Do you think you could have handled the situation better than him? Let us know in the comments section. According to reports, an alleged UFO crash occurred in Russia in 1937. The incident involved extraterrestrial beings, and some of their bodies were recovered from the crash site. However, these beings were already dead. The incident was initially kept under wraps, but over time, people began talking about it, and some footage has emerged that is believed to be evidence of the incident. The footage shows the corpse of a being lying on the ground. However, what's interesting is that the being appears to look eerily similar to an emaciated human body rather than a stereotypical image of an alien we often see in movies. The being's physical features include long fingers, a large head, and an elongated body. The video has sparked a lot of debate, with many people in the comments section suggesting that the being may not be alien after all. Naturally, the incident is one of many that have fueled speculation about the existence of extraterrestrial life and the possible interactions with humans. While the truth about this incident may never be fully known, it remains intriguing. So what do you think? Is this an actual alien or just a hoax? Through the centuries, the world map has undergone numerous transformations, and even now, new territories are still being discovered on our planet.
Around any of these areas, okay? There's North America, South America, Africa, India, Russia, China. Okay, so very similar to this map.
In this clip, a man showcases an updated world map and an old one from 1587, highlighting the differences between the two.
Australia. There is no Australia here because it hasn't been discovered yet. This is 1587. Australia wasn't discovered until 1606. So that's why that's not there. But my main question is,
One of the significant observations made was the lack of Australia on the old map. This raises the question of how a continent so vast could have been unknown to the cartographers of that era. Similarly, Antarctica was also not present on the old map, and the regions were considered as land. The question arises as to whether the lack of these territories was due to a lack of knowledge at the time, or if there is more to it. Some people even speculate that the existence of Antarctica is a scam. What do you think? And before our final video for the day, take a look at my favorite comment from the original post. Do you get it?
all this land. And second thing, what froze them? What happened between 1587 and 1892 where those areas got frozen?
The everyday chore of bathroom scrubbing. God, my mom knows how much I hate that. Anyway, instead of the usual everyday routine, this one unveils something rather perplexing. While diligently scrubbing away, the individual whom we will call Scrubby noticed a strange phenomenon unfolding with the foam on the ground. Instead of the usual randomness, the foam arranged itself into circles, forming a captivating spiral. I kid you not. Oh, wait, well, you can see it too, can't you? Now the plot thickens. The person ceased scrubbing, and there appears to be no external force at play. How on earth is this peculiar spiral of foam materializing on its own? It's a head-scratcher indeed. What's your take on this bathroom mystery? A playful trick of foam physics, or perhaps a sign of something more mystical? This next one is from America. A woman turns her gaze skyward to capture the dance of a peculiar light. What unfolds is a sight that leaves one intrigued, a light resembling fire gracefully traversing the heavens. Yet as the primary light fades into obscurity, a smaller companion emerges, continuing the celestial spectacle. Now the question lingers. Was this an encounter with an otherworldly UFO, or perhaps a captivating play of holographic imagery in the night sky? Ghosts. They've been the subject of tales and folklore for centuries, haven't they? The idea of our dearly departed neighbors wandering the earthly realm with unfinished business, it's enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. Now let's talk about this intriguing security camera footage. In the dead of night, we see a lone figure strolling along, clutching a trusty flashlight. Nothing too unusual there, right? But here's where it gets hair-raising. Right as this person passes by, another figure emerges, shadowy and ethereal in form. It's like something out of a classic ghost story. This second figure is not your typical late-night wanderer. He or she appears hazy, translucent, and within the blink of an eye, it vanishes into thin air. Now, some might argue that this could be a result of some pretty impressive video editing, and in today's digital age, that's a valid point. But personally, I doubt it is. This footage looks like the real deal, if you ask me. If it is, was that a ghost, or is it an otherworldly creature trying to materialize in ours? You tell me. A thermal camera set in the woods caught footage of something disturbing in the middle of the night. What the camera captures is nothing short of extraordinary. In fact, have a look. In the footage, we see a colossal figure suddenly coming into view. It's not just standing there, mind you, it's running with gigantic strides. Given its size, its massive arms swing with an almost hypnotic rhythm. Looking at the capture, I'm pretty sure that the creature might be at least 7 to 8 feet tall. The location and hour of this peculiar sighting offer no comfort for those seeking a mundane explanation. The evidence on display simply doesn't align with the characteristics of a human being. The owner of this enigmatic footage believes with unwavering conviction that what we are seeing here could very well be the legendary Bigfoot. And you know what? Given the sheer size, the peculiar gait, and the location, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Don't you agree? Whoa, check out this guy. He's doing some seriously bizarre stuff with his body. First off, he's pulling at the skin on his forehead and it's like taffy just stretching away. That's a bit odd, right? But hold on, it gets weirder. He goes on to shift his Adam's apple. I mean, who does that? That's not your everyday talent. Then he's stretching his arms in ways that seem way too flexible, and then to top it off, he bends his finger backwards to touch the back of his hand. Now, that's not how fingers are supposed to bend. Now here's the mystery. Is this some kind of medical condition, or could he be one of those rumored hybrid humans? It's kind of disturbing messing with the norms of human anatomy like that. What's going on with this guy's body? Take a look at this door that was seen at the top of a cliff. Some say this could be a World War II bunker. While we have no way of confirming it, this theory could be correct. World War II bunkers were strategically positioned in various locations for defense purposes, and their survival over the decades often tells a story of resilience against the elements. In this case, the erosion of the cliff has revealed the bunker door, creating a surreal and almost surrealistic scene. The erosional landscapes can occur due to a combination of factors, including weathering, wind, water, and geological processes. Over time, these forces can shape and alter the contours of the land, uncovering hidden structures and artifacts. Now let's dive into a fascinating chapter of the internet's Cryptid Chronicles. Back on September the 3rd, 2013, the digital world was set abuzz by a single enigmatic image shared by a Facebook user. What did this image reveal, you ask? Well, none other than the piercing eye of a mysterious creature. A trailcam carefully positioned to capture the secrets of the forest had seemingly caught the attention of an inquisitive visitor. This creature, whoever or whatever it was, decided to get up close and personal with the camera. As many trail camera enthusiasts know, animals often get curious when they encounter these devices on their turf. What if I told you this was no ordinary encounter? What if I told you the eye that peered into the lens was unlike any that had been seen before? Even after experts compared it to close-up images of various creatures, none seemed to be a perfect match. It was as if this eye belonged to some other creature. The conclusion, as intriguing as it may be, led many to the realm of Bigfoot. Yes, you read that right. Bigfoot, the legendary humanoid cryptid of the wilderness. Why? Because this eye held a curious blend of human-like characteristics while still maintaining an air of mystery that set it apart. Of course, it's worth noting that the world of cryptids is filled with ambiguity and speculation. What one person sees as proof, another might dismiss as a trick of the light or an optical illusion. An expert compared the eye against that of a hog and was very convinced that there was no Bigfoot involved. He strongly believes it's definitely a hog. Given the options, which do you think it is? If you're a regular subscriber to this page, then you are no stranger to strange phenomena, conspiracy theories, wild speculations, and even footage of cryptids like Bigfoot, the Rake, or skinwalkers. As intriguing as these creatures are, sometimes there are other things more intriguing than them. Sometimes the intriguing phenomenon is nothing but your everyday primate with a human-like expression, like the one you see in the footage. While it appears to be a typical black primate with regular monkey behavior, its face is the most intriguing aspect. We've all heard the saying, 2 heads are better than 1, but what do you make of a monkey that seems to wear a human-like expression? While this is interesting to see and watch, it makes me wonder if the creature is fine or if it's even accepted by its family. I'm no expert in this field, so I won't pretend to be. Can anyone among you explain what's going on with the monkey's face? If you can, please do so because we'd like to know. We'll be reading the comments.
His name is my first watch is Asteroid because it's from.
This watchmaker in Argentina is doing something pretty cool. Imagine a watch that doesn't look like your typical shiny thing, but more like a rock. And get this, it's not just any rock. It's made from an asteroid that literally fell from the sky and landed in Argentina. While some folks are all about showing off their diamonds and fancy watches, this watch takes the cake. We're talking about a watch with a piece of outer space on your wrist. It's not just a timepiece, it's like wearing a chunk of the universe while keeping tabs on the time. So what do you think? Would you ever consider rocking this rock on your wrist? Now, what do we have here? This sushi appears to be having a mind of its own. The filleted fish is moving on its own. Someone I know saw this and shouted, "Possessed!" The only thing that possesses, however, is beauty. That's if you can at least get past the whole unlived fish thing. So, is this fish possessed? Well, no. In many cases, this occurrence can be attributed to a phenomenon known as post-mortem twitching or nerve firing. Even after a fish is filleted, gutted, and prepared for consumption, there can be residual nerve activity that causes muscles to twitch or spasm. This doesn't necessarily indicate that the fish was alive at the time of serving. It's a natural response resulting from the remaining electrical activity in the fish's nerve cells. Well, that's what Julius said anyway, and well, I guess I gotta believe him. This footage was taken by an explorer who had decided to explore an abandoned building. Luckily, he didn't get into the building because something scared him off the property just before he could. Take a look. As he approached the entrance, the sight before him was eerie enough to give anyone pause. The entrance was padlocked, a sign that perhaps some things are better left undisturbed. But curiosity got the better of him, and he raised his camera to capture a glimpse of the mysteries within. What he saw in that dark room, well, it's the stuff of nightmares. There, lurking in the shadows, was a creature with eyes that glowed like burning embers in the night. It's the kind of sight that would make your heart skip a beat. But here's where things take a sinister turn. As soon as this enigmatic creature spotted our intrepid explorer, it lunged forward with an otherworldly menace. Frightened to the core, our explorer makes a hasty retreat, and the footage abruptly ends. Now, the big question that lingers is this: is our explorer okay? Because whatever that creature was, it certainly didn't appear to be in the mood for a friendly chat. But then again, he uploaded the footage, so he should be fine, right? In this video clip, we see a house painted in a yellowish or cream color set against a less than perfectly mowed lawn. The area is well lit with strategically placed lights. At this quiet time of day, nothing seems amiss. However, our assumptions are quickly proven wrong when a shadow suddenly emerges from behind the camera. We notice this presence thanks to the light strategically placed throughout the area. Shortly after it passes, an alarm goes off, signaling a trespasser. This startles the unknown creature, causing it to pause briefly. However, it resumes its movement once the alarm stops. The shadow reveals the immense size of this unknown creature, complete with a slight hunchback and long muscular arms. Despite its size, it moves silently and could have gone unnoticed if not for the alarm. What do you think this ginormosity of a creature is? My bet's on a Bigfoot, but I'd like to hear your thoughts too. Now, in all our previous bonus footage, we had an animal for you to identify. Today, I thought we'd take it up a notch. Can you identify the creature making that blood-curdling noise? If you can, please head over to the comments section and tell us. The first accurate comment will be featured in our future videos. Trust me when I tell you this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. Start your comment with bonus footage so we easily identify it. All the best. You might want to buckle up for this one. Imagine you're chilling in your backyard and out of nowhere, something falls from the sky. You go check it out, and voila, it's this device with solar panels on it, and to top it off, it's got the words "Space Selfie" written on it. Now, that's not your everyday backyard discovery. Curiosity kicks in, right? So after a bit of research, it turns out that this thing is called a Samsung Space Selfie. And get this, it happened back in 2019. Yeah, a whole space selfie dropped into someone's backyard. How wild is that? The Samsung Space Selfie involved sending a device with solar panels into the stratosphere to capture a space selfie. The concept was a marketing stunt to promote the Samsung Galaxy S10 5G smartphone. This device, equipped with cameras, took pictures against the backdrop of the Earth and space. During the event, Samsung launched the device into the stratosphere using a high-altitude balloon. People could submit their selfies, and the selected images were then displayed on the device's screen as it floated in the stratosphere. Participants received a link to a video showing their selfies with the curvature of the Earth in the background. Seems the people who found this device had no clue and were pretty shocked. I would do it if it was me. Check out this rather peculiar scene. Yes, those are turtles and someone's diligently digging them out. Now you might be wondering what's the story behind this unusual turtle excavation. Turns out some turtle species are known to hibernate. The narrative is these guys are trying to ensure their well-being during this slumberous state. According to them, it's like tucking them into a cozy bed in the earth, providing a safe and insulated space for their hibernation. Well, personally, I don't buy it. It looks like someone's gathering resources for dinner. Now, the next question is, why do they hibernate? In the wild, some species of turtles hibernate during the colder months to conserve energy when food is scarce. They may bury themselves in soil, mud, or leaf litter to protect themselves from extreme temperatures. Nature's ways can be a fascinating sight, don't you think? Well, we've certainly stumbled upon something that's a head-scratcher. In the world of Trailcam mysteries, this one's a real enigma. Picture this, a vast open field, and in the middle of it all stands a creature that's, well, peculiar to say the least. This oddity is a sight to behold. It's covered in what seems like tattered rags from head to toe. Its skin appears burnt, giving it an eerie and unsettling appearance. Take a look at those fingers, claw-like and asymmetrical, with one seemingly larger than the other. It's safe to say this is no ordinary sighting. Now, the million-dollar question is, what on earth is this creature? The size alone rules out a mere hoax unless we're dealing with a child in an exceptionally bizarre costume or a CGI creation. Which do you think it is, real or an elaborate hoax to deceive us? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Speaking of strange animals, what do you make of this capture? Looking beyond the faded grass and the vibrant trees adorning the ground which sway in the wind like freshly washed hair in the wind, we see a mysterious creature which appears to be on a journey. I know that intro was a bit too much, but well, you can't deny it was nice. Anyway, coming back to our trail cam. You can't help but wonder what type of creature that is. It doesn't remotely appear to look anything like we know. Its size makes it too large for any creature I could think of. With its black appearance and two robust arms and legs, it could easily be mistaken for a male gorilla confidently navigating its territory. I'm uncertain. It's a bit unclear, just a speculation as usual. What could this creature be really? If it's not a gorilla, what is this black walking creature? A part of me wants to say large bat, but well, I won't let it. Kindly tell me what you think we're seeing in the comments section, as I really want to know. Our next footage was taken by a Ring doorbell camera. From the footage, you can clearly tell that it's nighttime, and the rain seems to be pouring pretty heavily. A closer look and you'll realize that there's something strange about this. There in the sky is this ball of light. It doesn't look like your regular star, and it's definitely too high to be your normal street light. Simply put, it doesn't look like any of the celestial bodies we're used to. Instead, it just hovers there, mysteriously blinking in a pattern like a guiding light in the dark. What are we looking at here? Could it be some far-off space object trying to send a subtle message on this rainy night, or maybe it's a rare weather event causing optical illusions, making it seem like something it's not to the person watching? Ah, the mysteries beneath the surface. Now look at this curious sight. Something stirring underground, causing the concrete ground to yield and create a noticeable hole. A peculiar phenomenon indeed. As the ground shifts and the concrete is pushed up and out, one might find themselves pondering. Do these movements resemble arms, gently but assertively pushing against the constraints of the concrete? You know what? Perhaps I should take your opinions. What are your thoughts on this underground enigma, a natural occurrence or perhaps a playful illusion sparked by the dance of subterranean forces? Share your thoughts.
There you go. It's a cutterhead.
If you haven't already hit that like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to the day's episode. Now let's take a look at something far more bizarre. This footage was uploaded onto Twitter back in 2022. According to the uploader, this blazing scene took place in Ohio. What we've got here is a mesmerizing carpet of fire sprawling across the streets of Ohio. Now, before you start wondering if this is some kind of supernatural event, here's the kicker. Instead of fleeing in terror, the bystanders are drawn like moths to a flame, getting closer to capture footage of this otherworldly spectacle. As you can see, their fascination knows no bounds. It's as if they've stumbled upon a real-life mystery that defies explanation. And speaking of explanations, the local fire department has had their say. They suggested that this astonishing display might have been sparked by an irresponsible smoker casually flicking a lit cigarette butt onto some flammable mulch. Now, while this theory may sound like a most plausible explanation, there's something undeniably mystical about watching a carpet of fire dance and flicker against the darkened night sky. It's a reminder that even in the age of science and reason, the world can still surprise us with its unexplained wonders. So, Ohio's fiery enigma, whether a mere cigarette misadventure or something more, continues to captivate our imagination. Does it captivate yours? Next, we have a creature standing in a field, and at first glance, it might appear to be a simple stray dog. But hold onto your hats, because the owner of this footage firmly believes that they've captured none other than the infamous chupacabra. For those unfamiliar with the creature, it's a dog-like creature that feeds on the blood of livestock. Upon close examination of the footage, you might notice that despite claims of it being a chupacabra, it looks surprisingly ordinary. Is this a case of mistaken identity, or has the elusive chupacabra truly been caught on camera? Perhaps it's become more adept at blending in than we've given it credit for. What do you think?
¿Esto es real o esto es puesto ahí?
Esto es real.
Es real.
Es natural.
Podemos mirar.
Sí, claro.
Now feast your eyes on this man sporting what appears to be silver hair, or dare we say it, fur cascading from his shoulders down his back. Believe it or not, this is natural. In the realm of unique conditions, this falls under the purview of hypertrichosis, often colloquially referred to as werewolf syndrome. Hypertrichosis involves excessive hair growth in areas where terminal hair doesn't typically make an appearance. It comes in both congenital, present at birth, and acquired forms. Nature's quirks can take on various forms, and this silver-haired individual is living proof. Do tell me, werewolf enthusiasts, is this a condition you wish you had?
Ah, mira todo esto, güey. Oiga, se siente, no lo voy a negar que se siente, ¿verdad? Como...
Extreme body modifications, such as tattooing the entire body or undergoing procedures to resemble animals, are indeed a form of self-expression that can be perceived as unconventional and even shocking. In this case, we have a person with his back inked like a snake. I mean, talk about commitment to the extreme. It's like they decided regular tattoos weren't cutting it, so why not turn the entire back into a slithering serpent canvas? Freaky doesn't even begin to describe it. But hey, each to their own, right? Beauty and body modifications come in all sorts of flavors. Some might find it intriguing, while others might find it a tad too freaky. Next, we move to southeast Indiana for an alleged capture of the footprints of Bigfoot. Bear in mind that this was captured as far back as 2019, so have a look. The footprints, likely made on a muddy day, appear in the video as significantly larger than man's feet, possibly 2 to 3 times the size. Given its depth in the ground, we can deduce that whatever made it is quite large and very, very heavy. Do you know any creatures that fit the bill? Well, the paranormal community believes it's a Bigfoot, and who could blame them? The footprint was 18 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 4 inches deep, and the distance between the tracks was 70 inches. Hypothetically, this Bigfoot is assumed to be 8 feet tall, weighing approximately 800 to 900 pounds. According to the uploader, 5 people have witnessed these sightings. This gives some credibility to the captures. But tell me, what would you do if you met a behemoth that size? Would you run, scream, or try to befriend it? Let us know. Ever wonder about the hidden history behind things we encounter or even imagine? This footage showcases an unadorned fenced structure with few trees and no paint. At first glance, it appears this house was abandoned and left unfinished, but there's more to it that meets the eye. During the day, it's devoid of any human presence, with only a leafless tree to keep it company, but come nightfall, it hosts mysterious beings. One such is what you see on your screen. As displayed in the clip, a figure all in white emerges from the front part of the seemingly abandoned structure. We're not exactly sure if it knows it's being filmed, but it moves around freely without a care in the world. It looks like a little girl, but that property is abandoned with no one living there. Could it be a ghost? If it's not, what else could it be? And why does it only appear in the dead of night when no one else is around? Could it be the spirit of someone who once lived there? It's hard to say, but all evidence points to the fact that it's a ghost. Is it a real ghost, though? This is where things get dicey. Isn't it a bit odd that a camera was placed conveniently to capture a ghost roaming an abandoned building? It could be a coincidence et al., or perhaps they could have been investigating. Personally, the footage is ticking all the checkboxes of a hoax, but what do you think? Take a look at this. Looks strange, doesn't it? It's like a mix between the Hulk and the Devil. His strange-looking green face, however, is nothing more than a praying mantis. The praying mantis, with its unique and captivating appearance, truly stands out in the realms of insects. One of its intriguing behaviors involves the use of its forewings to create a startling display. When faced with threats, a mantis may theatrically open its wings, revealing eye-like patterns on the undersides. A remarkable tactic to intimidate potential predators. Not only does the mantis employ this defense mechanism, but the males also showcase their wings to communicate with potential mates. These visual signals play a crucial role in attracting female mantises during the intricate dance of courtship. Would you want one of these as a pet? Is it even safe? Share your thoughts. Next, we have a mysterious encounter in the lush landscapes of Indonesia. These strange people were covered in a black substance with animal fur adorning their heads and cascading down their backs. Adding an eerie touch, these enigmatic beings are known for emitting strange, haunting screams into the air. But who or what could they be? Enter the paranormal speculators. Some think they might be mischievous children dressed up and engaging in elaborate pranks on unsuspecting residents. I mean, when you think about it, it's something children would do. On the flip side, a more mystical interpretation takes root. Some members of the paranormal community suggest that these peculiar beings are forest guardians wandering through the woodlands. To be fair, in folklore and local legends, tales of guardians or spirits inhabiting nature's spaces are not uncommon. The black substance and fur might symbolize a connection to the earth and the creatures within it. But perhaps this is just Aaron's paranormal ideologies rubbing off on me. What's your take on this mysterious scenario? A case of mischievous youngsters, or perhaps encounters with mystical guardians of the forest? Kindly let us know what you think in the comments section. What do we have here? Behold, a hand fidgeting with a Trailcam. You've heard curiosity killed the cat, but this hand's owner seems unfazed. As darkness cloaks the day and masks the identity, this hand doesn't exude fear. If anything, it screams for a manicure. Gnarled and unclipped nails, maybe even a stray hair or two. I mean, it looks like the hand of an unkempt hunter aiming for the headlines by activating the Trailcam's infrared light. If that's not the scenario you had in mind, then I suspect Bigfoot took the spot, and I can't blame you. Considering the nails and gnarls, it makes sense after all, but this just screams fake. I'm sorry, a part of me wanted to believe it could be, but clearly it's not. It just seems too out of character for the big guy, but what do you think? Could it really be a Bigfoot looking for a potential hand model, or is this just a bad attempt to go viral with Bigfoot footage? Share your thoughts in the comments section, as we'd love to read it. Talk about an uncanny encounter, not content with just flying dinosaurs. Our world seems to be teeming with the unexpected. This time, our stage is set on a car, and behold, a creature like none you have ever seen. Picture a foam, like the kind you'd find in your cushions or packaging material. Now, give it a bizarre twist. Bring it to life and watch it move around. That's exactly what we're seeing here, isn't it? It's a peculiar sight, and I'd say it has an eerie, otherworldly vibe to it. This thing looks like it could spread the zombie virus or something. In the boundless sky above, a pilot aboard an aircraft becomes witness to a mesmerizing display of atmospheric phenomena. As the craft floats above the clouds, the pilot notices a peculiar light show unfolding beneath. Lightning-like flashes illuminate the clouds, and a mysterious beam of light pierces through from below. I know what you're thinking, alien beam, but believe it or not, this rare and captivating spectacle is known as sprites or blue jets. It's a phenomenon where electrical discharges travel from the ground to the sky, usually during thunderstorms. Unlike the more commonly observed downward lighting, which originates in clouds and strikes the ground, upward lighting starts at the surface, typically above large thunderstorms traveling upwards. These phenomena were only discovered and confirmed relatively recently, and their elusive nature makes them difficult to observe. Pilots flying above thunderstorms or satellites positioned above the Earth's atmosphere are most likely to observe and capture such rare moments. At least, that's what Julius said. What do you think? Take a look at this disturbing footage taken on a train. Here, you can hear this loud sound coming from the train with accompanying sparks. They appear to be coming from the train. But in a few seconds, a loud sound is heard as the other side of the train sparks fire, startling everyone. Now, what's causing this chaos? One theory is that the train might be going through a tunnel that's a tad too small for its liking, scraping against the walls and creating those sparks. Another possibility is that the train itself might be having a bad day. You know, some technical hiccups. At the start of the clip, notice how the guys sitting down seem unfazed by the noise, and others on the opposite side are also keeping their cool until there's a loud sound and bright light flash from outside the train. It's almost as if they're used to this situation, meaning the second theory might be correct. What do you think? The depths of our world's wilderness certainly holds their mysteries, as evident by this Trailcam capture. It's a haunting reminder of how much we still don't understand about the woods we often consider familiar. In this image, we see a figure that defies easy explanation. The person, or whatever it may be, is striking in its eerie appearance. The stark contrast between the extremely pale skin and those unnaturally dark eyes is enough to make anyone shudder. The long jet-black hair and the oversized dress only add to the enigma. But what's truly unsettling is the posture of this figure. It appears almost lifeless, as if it exists in a state between the living and the undead. The icy gaze directed at the camera sends a chill down the spine, leaving us with more questions than answers. Who is this mysterious being, and what could explain its presence in the heart of the woods? It's a puzzle that may never be fully solved. Let's take a break from all the weird stuff and look at a creature we can actually identify. In this heartwarming trail cam footage, we have a deer putting on a display of its acrobatic prowess. As you watch, you'll see our full-legged friend elegantly leaping over a broken tree branch, navigating the obstacle course of its woodland home. It's like a scene straight out of a nature documentary. And I must say, Bambi's got some impressive moves. Just look at Bambi go. This next one's an unusual one, but do enjoy it. Yup, that's a person with their mouth wide open. I'm talking wider than your regular human jaw stretch. Now the big question, how on earth is this happening? Some might throw around the idea of shape-shifting reptilian people, you know, the conspiracy theory stuff. Maybe this person isn't fully human, so stretching the mouth like that is a walk in the park for them. Or hey, could it be some super stretchy mouth skin they were born with? The possibilities are out there, but here's the thing. Well, who knows, right? While walking through the wilderness, a man hears these strange purrs coming from a cave. As curiosity beckons, the intrepid explorer gets closer and spots a creature with glowing eyes peering from an opening in the cave. Now, there seems to be no visible entrance to the cave, so how did the creature find its way in? And more importantly, what kind of creature are we dealing with here? Some suggest it might be a mountain lion, a known inhabitant of caves in remote areas. I mean, these creatures are known for their elusive behavior, and their reflective eyes in low-light conditions could create the appearance of glowing eyes like we see in the footage. There are others, however, who entertain the idea that something far more sinister might be afoot, perhaps a mystical creature hiding in the cave. Having seen it, what do you think? And for our final clip of the day, something beautiful, something exquisite, something rare. Take a look. Now, what are we looking at here? A strange-looking cat-like creature in the forest. What could this guy be? Well, this is a jaguarandi. For those unfamiliar with it, the jaguarandi is a fascinating wild cat that could be found across the Americas. It's a medium-sized animal with a unique appearance characterized by a small head, a long, slender body, and short legs. The jaguarante's coat can vary from reddish-brown to grayish-brown, and it has a long, bushy tail that's often darker at the tip. This wild cat is a solitary and elusive creature, which makes it quite challenging to spot in the wild. It's known to be active during both the day and night as it hunts for small mammals, reptiles, and birds. The jaguarante's diet is quite diverse, and it can feed on anything from rodents to lizards to small birds. The jaguarante is a quiet and relatively calm animal. It's not particularly aggressive and will usually avoid humans if possible. However, it is still a wild animal and should be treated with caution and respect if encountered in the wild. Where does this rank on your list of favorite cats? Let us know in the comments section. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Oh yeah, before you go, are there clips of videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we will post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and we'll see you in the next one.